That's going to be the 4th District versus Sleeper Social Club, or Social Sleeper Club, as we've come to call them.
I'm excited about this one because I heard the commentators burst out laughing when they saw the setups go onto the field. So hopefully there's something good waiting for us. What do you have bands?
Yes, the bands are Gila and Rattlesnake from the 4th District, and the Social Sleeper Club band, the XII and the Proteus.
Proteus is interesting.
That's pretty weird.
We haven't seen a lot of them.
Well, but 4th District did field Proteus.
Were they the guys that? Yeah, but they fielded Proteus really badly.
Yeah, but they won. That was the point. So they brought the 3 drone Proteus that were set up.
Did they actually win that fight, or was that the one that they got knocked out?
They won on the, I think, the very last Proteus, because I remember when I was watching the match, I grouped it down, I thought it was a frigate, and then when I found out it wasn't a frigate, I got really excited. So they brought, and I could be totally wrong, but I don't think I am, they were the team that brought the rail drone Proteus.
Yeah.
And they were so tanky that they just ground down. They didn't pilot well, positionally.
Weren't they the ones with the Rep Legion, and then they moved everyone out of range of the Rep Legion?
Yeah, well, I won't commit to that.
But,
and then they also, immediately after that, they ran an Armor Tinker, and then after that, they ran a Geddon with the Stardust. So I think the Geddon ban is really targeted, and then I think the Gila ban, on the other hand, is also targeted, because Sleeper Social has shown that they know what they're doing with that. So.
You're quite the expert on this match.
Well, this is what happens when you write notes down before. Otherwise, I would just be here like, you guys look good today.
I was just trying to find water earlier, so I didn't have time to make notes.
I have to, just on a social level, go with Sleeper Social Club.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I've been impressed with SSC so far this tournament. I think they're probably going to take this, though. You could go either way.
I'm going with the 4th District because they earned my respect yesterday.
I actually have the 4th District circled, but I feel like I don't have a reason. So.
We're solid.
But, yeah, we need to discuss this a little bit more, because I haven't heard anything yet.
So I like shaking it up by doing predictions early.
Yes.
Now people get some time to think about it.
You never know what to expect.
Now I'm more relaxed knowing that we're going to win, so it's much easier. But, I mean, Sleeper Social, the thing about them is they've shown a little more variety, I feel like. I feel like the Proteus setup from 4th District worked, but, like, it worked. Like, they made it through. It didn't work. And so I don't think they'd return to that, which makes it a little weird that the Proteus got banned. And Sleeper Social, having flown Gilas, they did a Stratios comp. They've done a Shield Tinker, albeit not successfully, but it just shows, I think, that they have more options available than 4th District can ban out from under them.
Yep, I think if you're trying to ban out the Armor Tinker, the Proteus also kind of helps with that as well.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, it's definitely an unusual ban, but once we see the ships in the field, maybe there's something SSC is bringing where maybe they just watched the Agony match yesterday. That just might be it. Like before this match, they had just been playing through the old matches. They saw the Agony match, like, we are going to ban Proteuses. A little fun tidbit about the Agony match. If anyone's wondering why the Crest API data playback for that match isn't working, so you can't see it on the null-sec 3D viewer and all that, it's because there's a bug that is now fixed that if you win the match too quickly, it doesn't save. Agony broke our system by winning the match too fast with Proteuses.
Yeah, the Winty will do that.
Gotta go fast.
So that's fixed now. So if anyone wants to win another match in 2 minutes, you're welcome to. But
we sort of, we want you to.
Wow.
It'll be interesting.
So, question, Stratios. How do you guys feel about them? They might, I mean, Sleeper Social might revert back to them because they're definitely comfortable with them. I don't like them. I've spent a lot of time talking about, like, disliking them strongly.
Disliking them in the tournament or just generally?
In the tournament, I don't ever fly them on TQ normally, but, I mean, they've got the armor resist, which is super appealing. They've got drones, which fit into the current meta. And they've got mid-slots that you can fit utility in. But I still have huge issues with their application compared to some of the other hulls. Like, I just don't trust it, and I don't know. If you're Sleeper Social, that's probably a comp you use a lot, just based on how they fly normally. Does anybody actually like that ship here? Because I'm not.
I think it's quite solid. I think a lot of people are choosing the Vexor Navy issue instead, and that's probably the right choice most of the time because they're at the same points. But yeah, I do think the Stratios is pretty solid.
We should just go into space and check it out because the match is ready.
Welcome back to Match 91, guys. I'm Buck and Alien here with Elise Randolph in Alliance Tournament 12, Day 6. And we are looking at a setup that we've already seen today. 4th District, who have are allied with CVA and practice with them quite a bit on the test server, I know this, decided to bring one of their setups.
Yep, they brought the CVA Damnation Sacrilege setup, which is what Rise heard over here. We were just being giddy little schoolgirls. Meanwhile, Sleeper Social Club took a pretty cool take on a blaster setup. They've got a Brutix Navy, triple Brutix Navy Brutixes, and Ashimu, some Vexers, some Cruors, and a Malediction. So these are an in-your-face team by Sleeper Social Club. This is going to be a sight.
It's going to be interesting. There's a high DPS team with a fair bit of neuting power up against a team that really isn't dependent on cap for their damage that are really tanky. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. The 3 Heretics are going to cause problems for those Cruors right off the bat. 4th District winning the Damp War of the Oneros, and 2 Vexers damp down. And, you know, you're going to have blaster ships coming in close. So really, at the end of the day, damping the Oneros, I don't know, he's going to be planning to be closer to the fight anyway. Cruor right off the bat, stripped of his shields. So it looks like Sylvanas is going to be in trouble. He's also damped out. So
these teams are meeting right in the center of the arena. They both just want to brawl straight in the face. This is one of the few slap down fights we've had. And yeah, this Cruor is taking damage, but he's trying to kite away a little bit. Let's see if it's going to work. Yep, they gave up on the Cruor. Now going for the Brutix Navy issue.
Yep,
Smart move.
Got to get
by
those off the field. When they're
4th
close
District.
in like that, you need to put them down. Sacrilege of Torellis is taking quite a bit of damage. He's in armor. He is getting remote reps comfortably from the Oneros, so Oneros hasn't lost lock. Reps now landing on Milena Luthian's Brutix Navy issue. We will see if there's enough damage to overpower the Oneros. That is the question, really, in this fight. I'm betting the Brutix Navy issue comp has enough damage to break through that Sacrilege before the Oneros really can save it.
It's going to be tricky.
Oh, that Brutix Navy is going down, though. That's an awful lot of damage coming 4th District team.
He's eating it, yes.
And, meanwhile, the Cruor is going down, too, so that the support war is kind of fighting a separate battle. The Sacrilege of Torellis is in a low armor. Brutix Navy issue Milena into structure. Which will go down first?
Sacrilege is going up. Well, a little bit. Sacrilege is taking fine, though. This Brutix Navy is down. And
that is going to cause huge problems because now less damage off the field. It's a lot of damage down. We'll see if the Sacrilege actually gets saved.
Look at how good this 4th District team is spreading tackle. Everything that does damage on the Sleeper Social Club is currently tackled.
Oh, the Sacrilege is going to go down the way. He's in low structure. He
Great
does pop.
trade, though.
But yeah, absolutely. And you have a web now on C1 Clunk, maybe. He is nuded, target painted, webbed, and taking a lot of damage. He's remote rep. Meanwhile, Nydia Masters, who I flew with once upon a time, is webbed down, taking quite a bit of damage in his Sacrilege. The Oneros is now webbed. That could spell trouble. Why the Oneros is tracking disrupted is well beyond me.
Yeah, who knows? But he's also got some jam drones on him, it seems. And doesn't matter. This Brutix Navy issue belonging to Clunk is going to go down. There's some rep bots, but it's not doing nearly enough damage.
Yep. Meanwhile, 2 of the Cruors are off the field. The 3rd one looks like he is going to go down. He is into structure now.
Yeah, this Heretic support wing from 4th District is just murdering these tiny frigs.
Yeah, that's what they do well. So here goes the Brutix Navy issue of Clunk. Tiny little sliver armor coming back. Tiny sliver structure. He is down. Nydia Master Sacrilege, meanwhile, holding on, half armor, and with every Brutix Navy that goes, that's even less DPS. I'm starting to wonder now, are they even going to be able to get through the Sacrilege? Yeah. This is the sort of setup 4th District wanted to face.
Yeah,
they wanted to face a, in-your-face kind of flimsy DPS team because they have the tanks to survive it, and they knew that. They still have the DPS to break through it.
And they're winning the support war so handily. It's great. These Cruors, where Sleeper Social Club were really hoping for because they have so much control, just got obliterated by the 4th District Heretics. And meanwhile, James Argent's going to go down.
Brutix Navy issue going to, absolutely drop. You know, that's the other thing with the blaster setup, that these Sacrileges and Damnations are going to be able to apply their damage from outside of blaster range. So if they do it right, don't get caught, they can do that. This Oneros is still webbed, interestingly enough, but there's no damage being applied to him, probably because Brutix Navy is nuded, webbed, and dying. He's into structure now. He's about to go down. Nydia Masters bleeding close to structure, but I think once that Brutix Navy drops, he's going to be okay. Still 3 Vexers on the field doing respectable damage, but I think the Oneros will be able to keep up now, and he is, as I say this, pulling back armor. Shimu and a Vexer both taking damage on the Sleeper Social Club side. CVA looks like another focus fire on Sean 1121. He is going to take quite a bit of damage.
And both are tackled, by the way, so it doesn't really matter which one they go for. Great job tackling by the 4th District. This is just amazing. These Vexers really want to kite around, but they had no opportunity to do so. so. The 4th District tackle wing was too strong.
You know, we did criticize CVA for bringing this setup, and the reason wasn't that it's a bad setup. This is a good setup, but from CVA, who have already fielded it once, Hydra are going to expect it. In this case, 4th District have not fielded this setup. Sleeper Social Club probably didn't prepare for this setup.
Yeah.
They're aware it's out there. They know how it works, but they don't know how to beat it necessarily. And
yeah, if you've got a week to practice, you do not spend your time practicing against this team unless you really think you're going to face CVA, which Sleeper Social Club weren't going to do.
Right, so Vexer down. Shimu looks like he's going to be next. Onero's starting to take damage now, but that's a little bit late to be...
So you can see what the Sleeper Social Club were trying to do through the match. It was to just get their drone swarm onto the Logi, and now that it's on there, like, this Logi is melting, but they have nothing left.
Yeah, it's just Vexer and Nishima doing damage. Now, you got to figure if they just go for the Oneros right off the bat, they get through it. I mean,
yeah, if they were able to catch it, that's what they wanted.
He's got Tech 2 Galente resist. He's going to have really high resist to the Brutix Navy issue damage, thermal and kinetic. It's going to be hard to plow through him, but even with those resists, you're still doing a couple hundred DPS most likely. So why not? Power through him right away. There's maybe some rep bots that are going to get on him, but you're going to beat his active tank. You know, get him down, and then maybe you can get through these sacrileges. But trying to break a sacrilege off from under an Oneros while you're dying is just maybe not the best strategy here. So maybe a misplay from Sleeper Social Club, who now lose another Vexer.
Yeah, wow. 4th District, this is just amazing from them. No one probably really expected this.
No, I definitely had Sleeper Social Club circled on my paper here.
Or at least no one expected as dominant a performance as this is. They lost one sacrilege, and they just wiped Sleeper Social Club, who have been pretty decent in the last couple of Alliance tournaments. They're just super gone.
Definitely.
Just got to throw some supers in there.
Really, really good match from them. Good performance from them. Looks like they're going to go on to face Pasta Syndicate in the second match after the break. So they, again, have a quick turnaround. We've been talking about this a lot. But I imagine, again, they came out with a new setup. You know, and that's part of the advantage, to an extent, of practicing with other teams. I know, pretty sure they practiced against Rokapal. I know they practiced against CVA. So they have a setup. The CVA ran really well. Shimu down. Nero's about to go down.
Yeah, he went out to the boundary. He didn't want to live life anymore.
You get some fresh, you know, ideas you can bring with later in the tournament. And see how that goes. So the Oneros is down 4th District with a very convincing win, a full 100 points. They will continue on through the elimination bracket later in the day, and Sleeper Social Club have to go home happy with some BPCs. So with that, we're going to switch things up, but we're going back to the desk here in just momentarily.
September 13th, the EVE online gaming event. Hashtag EVE_NT. Be there or be a douchebag.
Ruffin tips it away. Yeah, you better believe it, baby.
I just have one thing to say after that. Super called it.
Yeah, super. I nailed that one too.
I have a whole bunch more to say.
Go.
The more I think about it, the more I really dislike the Sleeper Social Club setup. I think it's really bad. I think it's really hard to expect the Navy Brutixes to do well in an environment where almost everybody's really strong mid-range and can kite you. You just have to expect to spend a lot of time chasing. And part of the way they tried to solve that is with the crew wars, which are pretty bad otherwise. I think they're like going to be lighter on DPS, they're going to be less resilient, and they can't bring other kinds of support as easily because of not having a lot of mids. I think like you really would rather have worms there or something that can tank a little better at least. And instead they have those crew wars. And I mean, I think 4th District did a nice job proving it. It's cool to see them bring the CVA setup, obviously. But
you know, when you're bringing a setup like that, you really got to think about the fact that we've seen a lot of triple heretic setups, and the heretics and the Tau War too, for that matter, absolutely shred frigates. They just tear them to pieces, and they had no real way to counter that. I mean, Brutix Navy issues aren't going to counter heretics unless you catch them, which you're probably not. And so you just have to assume your support's going to die in that case. I mean, I don't see what they were doing.
That is the one thing about all the Blood Raiders pirate faction ships. They look so good on paper in an EFT, but in practice they're just so easily destroyed, kited, damped.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, and it's weird to, like, I can see trying to bring something a little weaker to enable something really strong, but I feel like the Navy Brutix is not. There's no reason to think that it's strong enough to justify a weaker supporting wing. So it's kind of just seems like a weird decision to me. Like, I feel like if they do, instead of Navy Brutixes, they have Stratioses, and then they have some more normal support Heretics or Vengeances or something like that, they already are in much better shape. So it's just kind of I don't know. I just feel like it's pretty bad. I mean, I don't even especially like the Stratios. It's not necessarily that I think they should bring Stratioses. It's that I just think there's a lot of options that look stronger to build around than Navy Brutix is.
It was a very outside-the-box setup, though. At least, I mean, they have that. So maybe they're just hoping to surprise someone. Because in the tournament setting, like 4th District, they're not like the best tournament team historically. So maybe Sleeper Social Club were just like, man, we're going to surprise them. We're just going to bring something they don't expect, and they're going to be caught off guard by it. Yeah. But nope, not at all.
No, I mean, they had a good setup, and like we were talking about, they
and they played it well. Like, that's the thing that maybe we didn't talk about as much as we should have. 4th District played that amazingly well. They did every single thing they needed.
Yep, I mean, very collected, very calm, and they knew that Sacrilege goes down, you're gonna get 3 ships out of it when it goes down, and by the time it goes down, then you've already won the match.
And it's so much tackle and everything. It was just amazing.
Yep.
I am at least not going to underestimate them ever again, and I learned that yesterday. You guys
you're always learning these really permanent lessons.
Yes, I am.
They've earned my respect forever.
I am very permanent in everything I do. Thank you very much. Sleeper Social Cup go home. That's very permanent too. But we move on to the next match, which is going to be easily excited, which is Test Alliance Please Ignore. Test Alliance refusing to get ignored despite their name, and the bands are Worm and Gila from Easily Excited, and EOS Armageddon from Test. So these are pretty.
I think those are some really good generic bands. Yeah, like just taking out some good support ships, some of the annoying drone comps. We still have a good chance of seeing some drone comp from one of the teams, I guess.
The Rattlesnake is open.
Yeah, so we have that going on. I don't know.
There's Rattlesnake, and there's all the like Vexor VNI type stuff still
there.
Yeah,
the bands don't give anything away, which is a really nice thing to do with your bands. Like you, even if you have time to read into it, neither of these teams give anything away.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting to me, and this is just kind of a general comment, I'm waiting, it's going to happen, I feel like. We're in the elimination bracket, and a lot of these teams still have flagships left. A lot of them we haven't even seen them from left. You're at a point now, your back's to a wall, you're one step away from getting, what is it, a 5-plex round?
Yeah.
And why not? At this point, go all in. And maybe these teams are posting, kind of troll flagship setups, but maybe we'll see something this time.
Yeah, the State Raven I didn't expect to see, but I mean, right now we're in the do or die scenario. So a lot of teams actually did lose their flagships in the first week, because we saw a ton of flagships in the first week for some reason. But I don't think either Test or Easily Excited lost their flagship.
No, I know Easily Excited did not. I don't remember about Test.
So maybe we'll see a surprise from them.
Have we seen a lot of the flagships are Balgorns? Is that right?
The ones that we've seen were Gettons. A lot of ones that team selected were Balgorns.
I think Easily Excited has a Balgorn flagship. I think that was theirs. I don't remember what Test's was.
I feel like I don't have a very good feel for how Balgorns are actually doing this tournament. There just hasn't been very many of them around, even though a lot of the flagship selections are Balgorns.
It's the Blood Raider curse.
Right. I feel like on paper, like you said, it's a very good ship, but in practice, I think part of the reason we're not seeing them is that they're not the greatest ship in the current meta. I don't know. Maybe someone will prove me wrong. I hope so, because I love looking at the Balgorn. I love that ship. But
they do got a nice paint job.
Yeah, for sure.
As much as Easily Excited's name is fun to play with, I have felt that Test Alliance have sort of brought it back in terms of tournaments. What do you guys think?
Definitely agree. I think, initially they came out, they were kind of a team we didn't expect much of. We saw them in the Syndicate Competitive League last year a couple times just out there practicing. They didn't do a whole lot of great things with the team, but they've turned it around this time. They've had some good performances, and I think you expect good things from them. It's actually who I picked for. I think the Test Alliance have the advantage here.
Likewise, I picked Test Alliance because of that.
The only thing they lost to were TNT, which have like this weird mojo about them. They make people fail. So I don't know. I mean,
it's a good mojo to have.
Yeah, it is a really good mojo to have. It's a great superpower. So I don't know. I think Test can do it. They definitely put a lot of time into the tournaments. Not just this one. They do the Neos. They do the SCL. They were really dedicated in Alliance Tournament 10 even. So I think all that practice is going to pay off, and I think that they can have like an advantage over Easily Excited. And this is their, I think, Easily Excited the first time with this alliance in the Alliance Tournament.
Yes, I do not recall seeing the name before.
No.
Yeah.
And, that is something to talk about too, is the veteran pilots know what to expect. In your first tournament, I mean, by now they've gone through a few matches, but your first tournament, there's still a lot of jitters, there's still a lot of mistakes that can be made, especially if you're bringing, say, a different comp. Say you've gone armor comps the first couple times, and this is your first shield comp. You may do what we saw earlier in the day and just all fly out of the boundary. And Solar Fleet, I believe, did that. You know, it's the sort of thing where nerves can still happen, especially if you're switching up pilots. You may actually have pilots who are flying on the very first tournament match, even this late in the tournament. Test Alliance, chances are most of their guys are familiar with how to fly in a tournament. Their teams certainly are. And so you feel like they're going to at least have the experience, calmed nerves, and ready to go.
So their hands are going to be shaking, but they're going to still be shooting.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think Test is going to do well. I think they've looked strong, and I can't remember anything about Easily Excited, so usually if there's nothing super memorable, I feel like they did, like their last match was actually pretty good, but I don't remember why I think that.
Well,
but I think Test is good. I think they'll actually go pretty deep.
the match is ready, so we can see if Test can keep bringing it, or if they're going to live up to their legacy of, well, being bad.
That last Malediction is at about half armor, and this match will be over before too long. So he's got a raptor right on his tail.
Right, the Malediction down. Looks safe. I just grabbed 250 million.
Sorry, I think I go full.
Okay, yeah, him.
Roger.
We've got him.
I'm gonna go up.
I'm gonna disengage as well. Pointed.
Welcome back, Space Sports fans, and this is CCP Fozzie, joined by Apotheny. We are bringing you the next match in this 12th Alliance tournament, Easily Excited versus Test Alliance, Please Ignore. And Easily Excited has me very excited because they have their flagship Balgorn on the field, piloted by Twilight Madcat, and he is right up at the front of their formation as well. They brought their group in staggered. Twilight is in at 20 kilometers, and then they've got some Vexors a bit further back than that, and the rest of their team, which consists mainly of Vexor Navy issues, and Neros, Heretics, and Molluses, all the way at the very back at 50. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this Test team, Apotheny?
So the Test team is a repeat we've seen before. They've got their Logi Tengu with Vulture for links, triple Ishtar, triple Vexor, a Blackbird, and a Merlin. I'm worried about this team, given the incredible newts and the incredible DPS of these excited team, though their Molluses won't be as useful, apart from maybe killing some drones. The match starts, and we see damps immediately spread all the way across the Test team. Molluses is doing a great job there, but a TP going on the Neros, jam going on the Balgorn, and looks like they're going to try and nuke the Aneros
There
first.
are no newts or NOS applied to the Test team yet. That means the Balgorn is either jammed or just taking its time choosing a target. Probably jammed. Drones are moving across the field very quickly. If you remember from yesterday, this Test team likes to deal a lot of damage for a Tinker. It's a team that is okay with losing ships, and they're going right for the Aneros. A great
looks
primary
like he's
choice.
going on. Let's see how his tank holds, just dripping into armor now. What's he going to do? But at the same time, the Blackbird of Test is gone through his shield tank, heading into armor, but that Aneros is losing its armor slowly but surely.
Yep, this Aneros is dropping. He doesn't have a bunch of rep drones or anything like that on him. He's just surrounded by augmented berserkers and warriors and taking tons of damage.
That Aneros is dropping. Looks like Easily are going to lose their Logi, trading it for not much at all.
Not much at all, because that Blackbird is holding on, and of course, even losing the Blackbird isn't actually going to hurt Test that much.
Not
Although
really.
it is seemingly permajamming the Balgorn, as the Balgorn still hasn't gotten its newts on anything, and it is within range. It started out within range to be able to apply
Blackbird
newts.
dropping into structure there. Looks like it may
They're
drop
going for
soon,
the flagship
but now we
next.
go for the Flaggorn.
The entire Test swarm of drones is heading for that Balgorn. They've got the target painter on it. That Balgorn with no rep support is probably extremely expensive. As a reminder, if you're new to the tournament, flagships can fit extremely valuable special rare modules that make them cost a lot of money and make them very powerful.
The Flaghorn does have its bonus newts, nozzes even, on the Tengu, so that thing is going to be dry. However, the Balgorn also has guns on it. It has bonus guns. It represents a huge amount of neuting power, a huge amount of DPS, and as you said, a huge amount of this, and it is in a structure, it is about to explode.
It is going to go down. And now, of course, a Balgorn isn't actually the best way to beat a Tinker through neuting or NOS. You generally want faster cycling newts, something off of maybe an Ashimu or a small, like frigates or cruisers, other cruisers. The Balgorn actually cycles slow enough that the Tengu is getting refilled by the cap transfers of all those Vexers and Ishtars and able to keep running. And that is the Balgorn down. That is a flagship off the field.
I cannot wait to see that kill, Mel.
Yes, I think there'll be a lot of people at F5 and Z Killboard to get a look at that. Test off to a great start, only losing the Blackbird, and they've already taken down the flagship Balgorn and a Neros, and now they're onto a Vexer.
Yeah, it looks like Easy Excited are trying to go for the Tengu, kind of that core of the test team, but it is repping absolutely fine. They've got their Vexers left, but I mean, these heretics, they just can't do much when it comes to shooting bigger ships.
Yeah, they do apply like sustained damage over time, but they don't do enough to break through the reps of a Tengu. The Tengu is actually probably the toughest nut, by far the toughest nut to crack on this entire team.
I mean, with Vulture Links, the Megas bonus, resist bonus, like that Tengu can tank thousands of DPS.
As we say that though, it's getting pretty low.
Unless it just dies and I'm an idiot.
But damage is being killed off for Easily Excited. As they lose those Vexers, it's getting easier and easier for the Tengu to stay up. This is excellent target calling from Test.
Oh, it's beautiful.
They went for the Aneros first, exactly what they needed, got the painters on it, got the drones on it, then took down the Balgorn, which was nice and close to them, and which would have caused more problems as time went on from the NOS. And now they're cleaning off the most vulnerable damage. They don't really need to worry about the Moluses right now. The taking out those Vexers has allowed their Tengu to survive.
Those heretics getting absolutely nuked. I mean, light drones will just shred them despite the armor bonus. I mean, it gives you a little bit more HP, but really you're still a Desi hull.
Yes.
You just don't have that much base buffer.
So Test Alliance has now brought out this outside-the-box Tinker twice in a row. It's a Tinker that really can just be fine with losing ships because it's trading, punching really hard, and it's won them 2 matches. This is a really impressive setup from a team that I think a lot of people might have underestimated coming into this tournament.
What do you think would do well against this Test team? I mean, personally, I think something that can alpha damage pretty well, something that, because even Ishtars, they don't have a huge amount of HP. Vexers certainly don't. You could take a bunch of that DPS off the field. I mean, what do you think would beat the Test team here?
Yeah, I do think a whole lot of damage up close, like something that's throwing a ton of damage around Sleipnirs, artillery Sleipnirs especially. Rapid light missile launcher team like we saw Gorgon Empire bring would do very well because it would be able to tear down these Ishtars and Vexers before they go on to reload. But Test this is a team that is going to be dangerous. Another thing that would actually help a whole lot against a team like this is smart bombs, because the Vexer drones, the Ishtar drones are very vulnerable to a lot of large smart bombs.
So Test will be going on to beat Feign Disorder, and Feign Disorder have, it looks like, 3 hours to look at this setup and go, how do we kill this setup? Test have brought it twice. We either need to ban it out or we need to be able to beat it with whatever we bring. Because Test are very confident, and by the looks of it, rightly so in this setup.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Tengu ban coming from Feign Disorder later in the day. The Tengu ban would quite effectively limit this setup. They could still try to bring a Loki. They're going to be less effective, have a weaker tank. If they wanted to really go whole hog, they could ban the Tengu and the Loki like a lot of teams have to be when they're afraid.
Do you think you could get away with it with like a Bazzi or something even, kind of replace it and try and get it in? Or
it's a very different setup. I think when you don't have a Tech 3 in that remote repping role, you get some strong advantages. Like you get to give everyone on your team mobility now because everyone can move away, but it's a very different type of team. And so this is a really creative use of the high damage drone teams with battle balling basically around a